booktube, I'm back and I'm still hauling. Let's crack on and keep going. First one I've got to show you is another one I got when I met up with Eleanor, and this is The Nest by Cynthia Daprick Sweeney. When Black Sheep Leo has a costly car accident, the Plum siblings' much anticipated inheritance is suddenly wiped out. His brother and sisters come together to form a plan to get back what is owed them, each grappling with their own financial and emotional turmoil fallout. As the nest fades further from view, they must decide whether they will build their lives anew or fight to regain the futures they had planned. Next. I know this is out of character, but I've got to sort myself out. I've got to get over this ridiculous fear. But I've bought Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry. Have you seen the size of this thing? But I'm going to do the read along with Eleanor starting in January, where she set out how many pages we read, because I've heard it's great. I don't know why. Whenever I have read great big books, most of the time I absolutely love them. You know, I've read Les Miserables. I've read Middlemarch this year, although the first 700 pages were pretty hard going, but it picked up after that. So yeah, it's a Pulitzer Prize winning novel. I know it's something to do with the westerns, and I'm quite happy I'm going for it. Next, Running Girl by Simon Mason. Meet Garvey Smith, highest IQ ever, recorded at Marsh Academy, lowest ever grades, what's the point, life sucks, nothing surprising ever happens, until Chloe Dow's body is pulled from a pond, his ex-girlfriend. Oh, Garvey's a boy, I thought it was a girl. D.I. Singh is already on the case. Ambitious, uptight, methodical, he's determined to solve the mystery and get promoted. He doesn't need any assistance from notorious slacker Smith. Or does he? Then I have got A Girl Walks Into a Book. It's to do with the Brontes, and this is What the Brontes Taught Me About Life, Love and Women's Work by Miranda K. Pennington. I've got The Ballroom by Anna Hope, and this is 1911, inside an asylum at the edge of the Yorkshire Moors. Again, that's enough for me. It's an asylum, it's the Yorkshire Moors, 1911, where men and women are kept apart by high walls and barred windows. There is a ballroom, vast and beautiful. For one bright evening every week they come together and dance. When John and Ella meet, it is a dance that will change two lives forever. I've also got Codename Verity by Elizabeth Wien, and I've heard that this is quite a well-known book. I think it is. It's another one that seems to have passed me by. 11th of October 1943, a British spy plane crashes in Nazi-occupied France. Its pilot and passenger are best friends. One of the girls has a shot at survival. The other has lost the game before it's barely begun. Devastating, shocking, compelling and inspiring. Once read, never forgotten. And the next one I've got to show you, oh my, I'm so thrilled with this book. The Secret Life of Cows by Rosamund Young. It's an extraordinary book about cows and how they live. They have family groups and they certainly have friends. Now I feel that I understand cows, and when I see them in the fields I feel that I can say hello. I think I say hello to cows as well, particularly sheep as well. Obviously this is the middle-aged thing, we get interested in natural history. So this is all about cows. Quite keen to read it. There's actually, let me just show you, you know, like book lovers, we love like family trees and maps in books at the beginning. There's a family tree of cows. Oh yeah, just found another pile of books. The Anti-Procrastination Habit, a simple guide to mastering difficult tasks by S.J. Scott. Does this tell you something a little bit about me? Yes, I'm a procrastinator. I need help. Bought this book a while ago. Not read it yet. Procrastinating, putting it off. Oh God. Next I've got Ragdoll by Daniel Cole. One body, six victims, no suspects. The 5th season by N.K. Jemisin. It says, this is the way the world ends for the last time. It starts with a great red rift across the heart of the world's sole continent, spewing ash that blots out the sun. It starts with death, with a murdered son and a missing daughter. It starts with betrayal and long dormant wounds rising up to fester. This is the stillness, a land long familiar with catastrophe, where the power of the earth is wielded as a weapon and where there is no mercy. And on a completely different theme, I've got The Little Tea Shop of Lost and Found by Trisha Ashley. Look at that, I love Trisha Ashley's books. She writes really good Christmas books, and at this time of year I need a little bit of fluffy romance in my life. Trisha Ashley, she's from down the road to where I live, but I think she lives in North Wales now, and so she writes a lot about Lancashire, which is great because you don't find many books that are set in Lancashire. Just read the back of this and oh my goodness, it's like Trisha's written this for me. Let me tell you. Alice Rose is a foundling discovered on the Yorkshire moors above Haworth as a baby. See, Trisha, she just knows. Adopted, but then later rejected again by a horrid stepmother, Alice struggles to find a place where she belongs. Only baking, the scent of cinnamon and citrus, and the feel of butter and flour between her fingers brings a comforting sense of home. So it seems natural that when she finally decides to return to Haworth, Alice turns to baking again, taking over a rundown little tea shop and working to set up an afternoon tea emporium. Luckily, she soon makes friends, including a Grecian godlike neighbour, who help her both set up home and try to solve the mystery of who she is. There are one or two last twists in the dark fairy tale of Alice's life to come, but can she find her happily ever after? Well, of course she will do. But oh my god, it's like it's written for me. Well, that's going to the top of the pile. I've got Tower of Dawn by Sarah J Maas. I've not read any Sarah J Maas, but I've got, I think, all the Throne of Glass books. What's that other series that she's got? I can't think. Oh, is it Court of Thorn and Roses? Those ones. I've got, I think, 2 or 3 of them. I don't know. You know, for when I get around to it. Next, I've got The Crossing Places by Ellie Griffiths, and this is a Dr. Ruth Galloway mystery. A child's bones are discovered near the site of a prehistoric henge on the North Norfolk coast, and the police ask local forensic archaeologist Dr. Ruth Galloway to date them. Are these the remains of a local girl who disappeared 10 years ago? DCI Harry Nelson refuses to give up the hunt for this missing child. Ever since she vanished, someone has been sending him bizarre, anonymous notes about ritual sacrifice, quoting Shakespeare and the Bible. He knows Ruth's instincts, and experience can help him finally put this case to rest. Then a second child goes missing, and Ruth finds herself in danger from a killer who knows she's getting ever close to the truth. Then I've got The Good People by Hannah Kent. I read Burial Rites when it came out and loved it, which was set in Iceland, and it was amazing. It's set in rural Ireland in 1825. 3 women gather to save a child. It all begins with rumours, stories of unexplained misfortunes. Nora, mourning the deaths of her husband and daughter, knows the whispers are about her grandson. 4-year-old Mikhail can no longer speak or walk, and people are saying that he is a changeling bringing bad luck to the valley. In desperation, Nora begs the help of 2 others, Mary and Nance. Together the women will do anything to cure the little boy, but as their world of folklore and ritual tightens around them, it threatens to blur the line between mercy and murder. Then I've got The Child by Fiona Barton. I read The Widow, I think it was this year. Really enjoyed it actually. It was kind of like a different take on a crime novel. I thought I'd give this one a go. What I'm going to show you is Descender Volume 4 by Jeff Lemire. I love this graphic novel series. Tim 21, who's like a little robot. Robots have sort of rebelled. They're outlawed, but there's little Tim 21 who's surviving. Next one was a lovely surprise actually, and this is The Sacred Lies of Minnow Bly by Stephanie O. And this was Eleanor from Eleanor Reads Books entered a competition on another booktuber's channel, and I can't remember who it was, to say about how you found friends on booktube and what that relationship means to you, and she won the prize, and the prize was to send that person a book from Book Depository. So Eleanor sent me this, so that is just so lovely. So we've both greatly benefited from that, and I'm absolutely thrilled. It's about a cult, so I love anything about cults and things like that. 12 years of her life, her family, her ability to trust. And when she rebelled, they took away her hands too. Now that their prophet has been murdered and their camp set aflame, and it's clear that Minnow knows something about what happened that night. As she languishes in juvenile detention, she relives the events that led to her incarceration and struggles to unlearn everything she has been taught to believe. But when an FBI investigator approaches her about making a deal, Minnow sees she can have the freedom she's always dreamed of, but only if she agrees to divulge her secrets. I got Molokai by Alan Bennett, and this is directly because I saw this on Eleanor's channel when we did our Reading Around the World challenge, and it just sounded amazing. And it's set in Hawaii, and I've never read a book set in Hawaii. Spirited 7-year-old Hawaiian girl dreams of visiting far-off lands like her father, a merchant seaman. Then one day a rose-coloured mark appears on her skin, and those dreams are stolen from her. Taken from her home and family, Rachel is sent to Kalapapa quarantine leprosy settlement on the island of Molokai. Here her life is supposed to end, but instead she discovers it's just beginning. After reading a few years back The Island by Victoria Hislop, if you've not read it, read it, it's brilliant, which is set on the Greek island of Spinalonga, which was a real life leper colony. I've been fascinated by anything to do with leper colonies. This obviously combines that with Hawaii, so I just had to sort of buy with one click. My Shelf Slam gifts were this one from Eleanor. I got A Tree Grows in Brooklyn by Betty Smith. Now I know this is a book that that a lot of people have read, and it's regarded as a classic, and I've never seen it. I've never read it. I'm not going to read the back because one of them books I just need to get around and read, and I know that a lot of people give it 5 stars, so I felt it was time I did. And Brittany got me The Call by Peadar O'Gwilyn. Nessa and her friends attend Boyle College to train for the most dangerous time of their lives, the call. Without warning, each one of them will wake in a terrifying land, alone and hunted, with a 1 in 10 chance of returning alive. No one believes Nessa can make it, but she's determined to prove them all wrong, and she will need every ounce of spirit and courage in order to survive. I also bought A Complete Mouse by Art Spiegelman, which is a graphic novel around the Second World War. I do find anything to do with the war, the First and Second World War, quite fascinating. Next I got, so I can't remember where I saw this, it just intrigued me so much, there's the premise of it, and it's called My Life as a White Trash Zombie by Diana Rowland. Angel Crawford is a loser, living with her alcoholic deadbeat dad in the swamps of southern Louisiana. She's a high school dropout with a pill habit and a criminal record who's been fired from more crap jobs than she can count. Now on probation for a felony, it seems that Angel will never pull herself out of the downward spiral her life has taken. That is, until the day she wakes up in the ER after overdosing on painkillers. Angel remembers being in a horrible car crash, but she doesn't have a mark on her. Add to the weirdness, she receives an anonymous letter telling her that there's a job waiting for her at the county morgue, that it's an offer that she doesn't dare refuse. Before she knows it, she's dealing with a huge crush on a certain hunky deputy and a brand new addiction and an overpowering craving for brains. Plus her morgue is filling up with the victims of a serial killer who decapitates his prey just when she's hungriest. Angel's going to have to grow up fast if she wants to keep this job and stay in one piece, because if she doesn't, she's dead meat, literally. So it just sounds like a romp. Next one, I got Volume 5 of Giant Days. I just like to have a continuation of the series. It's not right to have to wait to find out what happens next. And then I thought, well, while I am now quite into graphic novels, and I wouldn't say I'm a graphic novel novice anymore, I thought now it's time to maybe try a bit of manga. So I've bought myself Death Note Volume 1. I know that my children have watched the animated series of it and absolutely love it, so it's just, look at it, it's got black pages. Time to try a bit of manga. Next, I was browsing around Amazon. I found this little book that I thought would be great. Introvert Doodles by Maureen Marzi Wilson. There's the little front cover. Being an introvert, I thought this would be so much fun to read. It's got lots of fun little colour things inside it. So I'll just read you the pie chart, what it says. So this is why introverts are quiet. I think you're interesting, so I'd rather listen. I'm daydreaming didn't hear a single word you said. Oh, I've been there so many times. My response would probably be over your head, so what's the point? Oh, yeah, that's introverts, isn't it? Yeah. I don't want to be here in the first place. I can identify with that as well. Finally came up with the perfect reply, but now you're talking about something else. Thought that would be a little bit fun to read. I've also got this book. This is from my Book Buddy box, and this is Dreamland by Robert L. Anderson. Dee was 6 years old, first time she ever walked in a dream. It was an accident. Her mum knew what she'd done. That day, Miriam sat at the kitchen table gripping a mug of tea so tightly Dee could see the individual veins in her hand, and repeated the rules of walking. Third rule was that she must never ever be seen. Why, Dee had asked, feeling disappointed. I won't let them find you, she said. Her eyes were very wide. She was looking at Dee as if trying to beam a secret message to her, and Dee knew that her mum was afraid. Then Dee was afraid. Who, she asked, although she already knew the answer. The monsters, Miriam said simply. I've also got Dan and Sam. This is a graphic novel by Mark Watson, just like a one-off. One of them's dead, I think, and it seems to move between a colour palette and black and white palette. I have got My Sister's Bones, and this was a present that Eleanor sent me very kindly to celebrate me starting in my new job. This is by Nuala Elwood. It says the one person you should trust is lying to you. So it looks like a fabulous thriller. Kate is a successful war reporter. She's the strong one, the one who escaped Herne Bay and the memories it holds. Her sister Sally didn't. doesn't. Instead, she drinks. But when her mother dies, Kate is forced to return to their old family home, and on her first night she's awoken by a terrifying scream. At first, Kate tells herself it's just a nightmare, but then she hears it again, and this time she knows she's not imagining it. What has Kate stumbled upon? Is she strong enough to uncover the secret and make it out alive? The next one I've got to show you, and I know this has been around a while, it's Quiet by Susan Cain, and this is how the power of introverts in a world that can't stop talking. And obviously, being an introvert, though, I'm quite keen to read this one. Let me know what you think of these, and let's chat in the comments down below. I will see you all soon. Keep reading. Bye!